How we doing, folks? We're back with another episode of Two in the Cooler. Andrew, stop laughing. We just started. Nothing's funny yet.
I'm having a great time already. Okay,
Well, this is a big day. This is a highly sought after day.
highly sought after.
Yeah, people really
Like
were
the
looking
lost
forward
art.
to this episode.
Yeah, myself included.
Because we have guest Sean Brown on the podcast today.
That's right.
Sean, say hello.
What's going on?
Musician, culinary expert,
Do
legend
it all.
of screen and stage,
Fixer
and
of
he
the
also
sinks.
happens to be engaged to our cousin, coincidentally enough. So
It's funny how that happens.
What a life. You might hear her banging around and stuff because she's doing a workout right now.
Oh,
Just, like,
that's
every
fine.
3 seconds, like, it's fun.
what the hell
times.
kind of workout is that?
It's some stay at home, and I'm like pretty sure she's on the futon, like doing front flips off of it just to like get her cardio in or something.
Indoor parkour?
Hey,
Pretty much.
everybody's doing what they can to get by these days, you know?
Guess so,
Yeah.
man.
Get
That's a
their steps
unique.
in.
That's a unique indoor workout. I like that,
Yeah.
man.
So, Sean, one of our big things so far throughout this whole, crazy quarantine thing is we like to know what people are up to. So what have you been kind of day to day as far as just keeping yourself busy and not going insane, living with Kyle and,
Step one is try to keep track of what day it is.
yeah,
Then,
that's always important.
wake up, drink some coffee, do a workout, and then I don't even know. It's like this whole past. I think yesterday was week 8, and it's just like, what have I been doing with my life?
Yeah, somehow time is passing and we're still here.
Yeah,
So
it's like
what is it?
May already. It's insane.
So you're in Philadelphia. So what is it like? Explain to us the rules there, because in New York they're different, and we'll get. So what's it like in Philadelphia? What's open? Is it takeout only? Is it
Yeah, Philadelphia is takeout only right now. A lot of places are doing curbside. A lot of beer places are opening up, and just like you can get like a to-go 6-pack or something along those lines. Everything is pretty much closed except for grocery stores. And then if you go, you have to wear a mask. And anytime you go in there, there's always that one person that's like, "Oh, that stupid mask rule," and everything like that. It's like, it's to save your life, bud. So
complaining about the mask?
I don't
yeah.
know.
So other than that, like our block, there's just a bunch of people outside screaming all the time. So I heard a 5-year-old drop the F-bomb earlier, and the mom freaked out. So that was a highlight of my day.
Really?
Yeah, that's the stuff you look forward to. I'd like to get that 5-year-old's number. Maybe he'll come on next week.
Oh, that would
Tell
be.
us,
Oh my god, that would be
his angst.
phenomenal to have a little
Yeah.
kid just cussing on the podcast. He'd be a great guest. I
That's
don't
gotta
think
be
that
so
I
Things we promote, that right there. 5-year-olds who have freedom of speech and
Well, I don't think. I mean, you said the mom was freaking out, Sean. That's exactly right. Freedom of speech for all ages.
age
I
groups.
I don't know if I probably wouldn't freak out at my 5-year-old for saying the F word. Maybe if he did it in front of like his grandma or something.
I mean, jokes on that kid because his life's gonna get so much worse as he gets older. So like
you're-
that small
if-
inconvenience.
If you have to say fuck because something that bad happened to you when you were 5 years old, he's not gonna have a great life if
Yeah,
you
just
can't
deal
handle,
with
So people are just
Yeah.
screaming. Is it like people protesting, or is it just screaming?
No, it's like a bunch of little kids and their parents
playing
and, like,
around.
When you
it's
live
like it
across
pisses
from a
me off there
school?
because if I do that, then the cops get called on me. But they can
Yeah.
go out there and just scream maniacally all day. But yeah, school.
I have a
canceled
lot
for
of
the rest
theories
the year.
about this. I say this all the time with little kids about why can they acceptably run around naked through parks and stuff like that, but when I try to start to shed some clothes, it's always an issue on my end. When at our grandma's 80th birthday party, we're at this nice place. There's little kids running around naked everywhere. I said, "Grandma, why are you letting them run around naked? If I got naked, you'd be kicking me out right now." And still here I am today. Now I
Double
have to take my
standard.
clothes off at family functions.
Bunch of
Double standard is
resentment.
right.
Lord, Matthew, I don't know. I feel like you're
You should be able to live your
dangerous
life.
territory. I guess
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If that's what makes you happy, then do it.
live in a nudist colony. I
What
would
about
like
you,
that.
Andy? What have you been up to?
Just doing work and putting shows on the air. Oh my gosh, you know what they've been airing on CBS because of like regular sports and stuff? They've got nothing, so they're kind of just like looking for crazy things to find a couple weeks ago they aired a high school basketball contest from like 2015, which was hilarious. But they've been airing these strongman competitions. Have you guys seen these?
No.
Like weightlifting?
Like
Not-
lifting
no,
logs and everything like that.
Like, yeah, like lifting. They just lift rocks.
Like do the fridges?
Heavy
Rocks?
They lift rocks.
Oh.
They have to push logs around. It's awesome. The guy who played the Mountain on Game of Thrones is like the world champion, and he's been in all of these competitions. I don't know when they're from. They seem pretty recent, but the stands are packed and stuff, so I don't know like where they are, or what they're doing. But it's so crazy to see these guys. They're not even lifting weights. There's literally a big rock in the middle of the floor that says like 300 on it, and it's just a 300-pound boulder, and they just lift a rock up over their head. This is like caveman strength. It's crazy to see these guys do this stuff.
How do you find out that that is your passion? Just like lifting a bunch
Lifting
of heavy
rocks.
things.
Grow
Well,
up on a farm.
you know, one day you were walking through a field and you saw a rock and you're like, You get curious. Can you lift it? That actually, did I ever tell you this story, Andrew? I know Sean hasn't heard it for sure, but when we had to do like this military CrossFit training for hockey. It was a 4-week long training program we had to do to start our season. I think it was my sophomore year of college. Did I ever tell you about this?
I don't think so.
So, first of all, the place that did it, it was called like Hard to Kill Athletic Training or something like that. That was the name of it. So that was their whole thing, is like they were making people hard to kill because they were all ex-Marines. So the guy who ran it, his name was Bobby De Niro.
Wow.
And he hated being called Robert, but I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But that was one of the things we had to do, was they had these boulders. I think the ones we were doing were like 150 pounds. And they were just giant circular rocks. And we would call it spocking. That wasn't what it was actually called, but because they would tell you they're circular, so they tell you to take your hands like this and go underneath the rock, like wedge yourself underneath the rock, and then you pick it up, and then you get it on your shoulder, and then you huck it down. And then you squat down and you spock it, and you pick it up, get it on the shoulder, huck it down. So I feel, it wasn't one of my passions, but I guess maybe, you know,
Like
I guess that's what
1800s.
people like doing.
This is like 1800 Scotland workouts. Like, why are people
Yeah.
doing these crazy things?
Chuck a goat.
Chuck a goat.
Yeah.
That was another part. That was a weird part
Yeah.
of the competition. You see the guy who played the mountain.
I thought that was more of like an arcade game back in the day than a strongman competition. Chuck a goat. I didn't realize that.
That's how you get your partner. Toss your goat the furthest.
Goat toss. It was like egg toss, but you couldn't drop the goat. There was a lot of goat-related recreational activities.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm down here in Longboat Key, Florida. It's 87 degrees today and sunny, and so everything's open. Restaurants, well, for the most part, but with restrictions, right? So it's 20% or 25% indoor capacity, 50% outdoor capacity. And we went to dinner last night, lunch today, sat outside both times, and it was never, very spread out. They do a good job of spraying stuff down and even like making you put on hand sanitizer when you walk in, and you have to wear your mask to walk throughout the restaurants and stuff like that. But there are some places, because it's Florida and people who live in Florida are weirdos, that like we drove past a bar. The beaches, not this beach, but the public beaches are packed, like to the rafters. Every single person sitting out there in their beach chair, collecting their unemployment, just having an absolute ball. No rules whatsoever. And there's a few outdoor bars where, like, standing room only. These places are packed, and people are in there smoking cigarettes too, which I don't even think that's legal. But not to
Everything's legal.
remember the fact
Nothing
that
matters anymore.
seriously,
Yeah.
it's like there's no rules. Nobody in Florida has ever even heard of the fact that this disease is going on. Apparently, I mean, to an extent, it is crazy being down here, and we're very cautious of the way we act in public places because that's how it is back at home. But some people just it's nothing's going on to them. You know, it's every day almost. It seems like everyday life.
What's gonna happen? Things are gonna start opening up. Even on
Well-
like Friday's a big day for a lot of states, a lot of cities.
Yeah, I saw that in New York. They're opening like drive-in movie theaters open Friday. That's cool. I like
Oh
the
yeah, I
drive-in.
saw that. That's a cool idea. I hope that I
Yeah.
wonder how that's gonna be because drive-in movies make most of their money from concession
Concessions.
sales. Yeah, so I wonder if they're gonna. I mean, if they have like the resources to, I don't know, do some safety shit or whatever.
I wonder if they have,
Well,
like, an
how are you
app.
gonna if you have 4 different screens going? How are you gonna limit the amount of people that are allowed in?
Well,
Two
that,
Like
person
inside
per
of the
movie.
concession.
well, that's the thing. I don't know if you. That's a good point. I don't know if you have to, but I don't know. It's cool that I feel it's just cool that they can do that. It's open or whatever.
Anything to let people get out of the house is gonna make them feel some type of joy.
It's just like, I don't know, I wouldn't get excited just because like the government is like, oh yeah, go do it, it's fine now. Like, it's probably not. So there was supposed to be a parade protest type thing on Friday from this group called the Proud Boys. They ended up not showing up, and then there were a bunch of like reopened people that were there, and I think like maybe like 5 people showed up. It was like, and then somebody in an apartment building took a picture of it, and it looked like the saddest thing. Just like no one wanted to go hang out with them.
Poor
Reopen
Proud
America. Yeah.
God,
Poor
boy.
guys.
Not so proud anymore,
Yeah,
are you?
not so much.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody. That's the problem with it. Is everybody has a different opinion. I feel like everything is so divided, and everybody's agrees that like there's potential danger. You don't want people to get sick, but it's the way of how to handle it that everybody's so divided on, and
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like that for a long time because at the end of the day, people like us aren't the ones who make the rules. You know what I mean? It's the people. So who knows?
All you can really do is take it in stride, drink your 3 to 4 cups of bleach a day, and just try
Yeah,
and
to
just try
drink your bleach.
to stay healthy.
Not that bad.
No, once you
3 to 4 is not that bad. They have
yeah.
those pills,
Once you get
Have
to
you
the
ever
fourth
yeah.
cup, once you get to the
You're
fourth
pushing
cup, I mean, you can barely see at that point, so it's
Start oozing out the mouth. But at least
Yeah.
you don't have COVID,
Yeah.
so it worked out.
Yeah.
damn.
You know those pills? Have you ever seen them that you take them and everything is like cherry flavored or stuff like that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen those?
No, that sounds like
They're like taste bud
a
pills.
drug. Taste bud.
No, I mean I don't know what they're called. They're real things. Like you take them and for like a half hour, everything is super sweet or something like that. They're a real thing. I know people have tried them before. You just take a couple of those, you gallon or 2 at a time.
Sounds
Like it's
disgusting.
nothing. Look it up when you're done with this.
That's more.
I mean, once again, I haven't left this apartment other to like run or go to Rite Aid in 8 weeks. So I'm down to try new things. So why not?
Taste
you know?
bud pills.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you take them and then no, they're real. I don't know what they're called, but I know they're a real thing. Maybe this was a few years ago that I knew people that had tried them. Maybe they've since been banned because maybe they were killing people. I don't know, but the people that I know that took them are still alive, and they said they worked. So
That's weird. I feel like that's something that's made by and for like those kids in elementary school who would like eat or drink anything for like a quarter or like $1. You know what I mean? You like
this guy was like, I used to make so much money from eating paste.
you just mix like the milk
Times
and
are
hot
simpler.
sauce and like gross shit like that. And
And I love hot sauce. I don't know. Yeah, I was never a big. I was more of the guy like, hey, I'll give you $1 if you eat that, than the I'll eat that for $1
Yeah,
kind
for
of guy.
sure. Dishing out $1 is not that
Yeah.
big. You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about yakking everywhere later. So
Yeah.
hey, Matthew, you're Tom Sawyer. Do you get that reference?
Is that-
Oh, you don't read. I forgot. You don't know how to read.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to bring this up. On the airplane, on the way here, which one? Airplanes. We'll get to that. But I read like a chapter of a book.
What book did you read a chapter of? Oh my god.
It was it's this book about it's a hockey coaching book. It's about like this journalist sits down with 7 of what some people would consider, I guess, the most successful coaches of all time. And it's not like an interview necessarily with them. He doesn't ask them about their life and whatnot, but he rewatches the game tape of their biggest game. So whether it be like a Game 7 Stanley Cup final or a world championship or Olympic gold medal, they just watch that game tape, and then he asks them questions while they watch that game of what's kind of going through your head. So it's an interesting look at how, it's something that you don't see very often. Most of the time when you interview a coach, it's, well, what, like, how'd you start, stuff like that. And this was, I don't know, it was cool. I liked it. I only read 1 chapter, so I only got through 1 coach because that's how it is. But I'm sure I'll read another one if I have an extended period of time where I have nothing to do.
Yeah, well, let us know if you do.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys
That's
updated.
Update news,
like
baby.
8 weeks from now, update.
So I finished chapter 2, guys.
Well, you gotta pace yourself. You don't want to overload yourself too quickly.
Yeah. Another issue that I just recently discovered that I had was I've kind of ran out of things that I want to watch as far as new show. Oh, show that I wanted to bring up. That Hollywood show. Did I bring this up last week on the show, or did I start watching it afterwards? But
No,
I
you
brought it
mentioned
up.
something on the Zoom. And
Yeah.
so I watched it because of that. So
Did you
I
watch
can
the whole
actually-
thing?
I did. It was pretty good. There were like
This-
some really good parts to it. Some parts that were all right. Like some
I
of the
liked it a
acting was a
lot.
little like sketchy at certain parts, but other than that, it was a solid show.
I thought it was, I liked the way. Okay, I have a question for you. Well, for people who haven't seen it, it's a Netflix series. It's called Hollywood. Andrew, you should check it out. I think you'd like it.
I'm sure.
It's
I've seen
kind of-
a preview for it, but I've not watched any episodes of the show.
Yeah, it's about 5 or so young adults who are getting their start in Hollywood, kind of right after the war. So they're, it's a really interesting show. The way that they do it is weird. What was that?
The first Gulf War.
Yeah, no, the Spanish American. Yeah,
Good one. Good war.
one of my favorites.
Last
But,
good one.
Yeah, I think. Well, one, I bet you
too.
that. I didn't fact check it or anything. Sean, do you know that Peg, that movie? Well, how it starts, was that a real story? Was it like a girl named Peg actually kill herself in Hollywood? Like, is that based off somewhat true events, or?
Yeah, so that is an actual actress that I guess that like is significant to what like that story is like what happened, but she did jump off the Hollywood sign. And then there's like some park that she like quote unquote haunts or something, but I guess it's good
Of
that it's
Hollywood.
occupied. Yeah, so
Yeah.
but
It's-
yeah,
I
it's supposed to be true.
Yeah, I liked it. It's got a lot of like, they focus on a lot of what I guess at the time were edgy topics. So there's a lot of, suspense to whether or not what's going to happen, I guess. And it's quick. It's only 7 episodes. And I think they're 43-minute episodes or in that time frame.
Yeah.
So
And plus, the fact
good
that it was a
watch,
mini
but-
series, I think, helped it a lot too, because it's just like here's what happens, and it doesn't go on for too long or anything.
yeah. I was curious if they're going to try to continue it into maybe to try to follow the lives of those people like into a second season. But I think it'd be
Interesting.
tough. I don't know. But before we got on the whole Hollywood rant, what I was going to say was since I watched that show, I kind of ran out of things to watch. I felt like they were doing a really good job of putting out new content. Everybody was staying busy, which, by the way, I still haven't finished The Last Dance. But other than that,
You
and
gotta get
because
on
I don't know where yeah, I know. I started watching Criminal Minds again. So I'm
Oh my
absolutely
God.
dialed in again in the life of serial. I love it. I can't get away from it.
It's so
I
good.
lay there at night.
Do you watch
Sucks me
Crime
in every
Wednesday?
time.
It's like it goes
Yeah.
on for 55 seasons. It's great. I think they're all based on true stories too. Like loosely based on a true story. Like that stuff actually happened, which is disgusting that it probably did actually happen. And
Yeah.
they're profiting off of it, which is good for them.
Yeah, I know Law and Order is a big. I think almost everything that happens on Law and Order comes from the idea of a real thing. I don't know how much all the other shows follow what really happens because maybe the killings themselves, but probably not the storylines. Right? They add in that extra
Oh, yeah.
storyline
Add
element.
in
But
some deets.
What else you been watching, Andy? You got into anything or?
Oh man, all I've been watching is Community on Netflix.
Right on.
Spectacular show. And just the shows at work that I have to trim together, which is a lot of terrible daytime television. Oh my gosh. We got this new and a bunch of infomercials, which are crazy. You know how some people are like super into infomercials? I always
Yeah.
had
There is something appealing about them.
Like buying stuff from
Okay.
them, or they love watching? What do you mean, though?
like just watching info.
yeah.
Well, I mean, don't you hate when you open up your cabinet and all your Tupperware falls out and you
I
like,
hate it.
need something to organize it?
Yeah.
And you're like,
Can't.
oh,
I
this
just
talks to
can't.
me.
Or you can't figure out how to cut your brownies into 12 perfect slices. So
It's hard.
Yeah, it is difficult. I'm not good with math either. I'm better at math than reading. But all right, you go ahead, Andrew. Sorry, we got off track.
I understood kind of why people would want to watch all these infomercials and stuff, and then I started to like have to watch a bunch of them when I was at work, and they're terrible. They're absolutely pointless, and I don't get it anymore. They're the ones that are so upsetting are the ones for like supplements, because they have somebody come on. Larry King does one actually, where they pretend it's like a Larry King show, but it's this infomercial, and they have somebody come out and literally say this sentence over and over again. Just, I've been in the medical profession for 20 years, and I've never seen something with this much science in it. And I'm like, oh my god, you're just, who falls for that? You're just fucking with people.
Science?
Stuff.
I must buy it. Oh my god, there's so much science.
It's
To me, science makes sense. As long as there's science in it, I will purchase it.
there's this show. This is not an infomercial, but it airs at like 3 in the morning or something, and it's called The Outdoorsman. Have you ever heard of this? I don't know why you would have, but maybe. It's all over the place.
What is it about? Who's in it? Is it what kind of show is it?
It's like a nature show. It's like a hunting show. It's this guy named Buck, who's like 55 years old. He
What else would his name be?
Exactly. And they can show the most graphic stuff on this show. I don't know if it's just because it's happening to animals or if it's because it's in like the
so
safe
late at
harbor
night.
hours. Exactly.
3 a.m.
But there was
Witching
this
hour.
episode that I had to, trim and get ready for air the other day, and he went. Where the fuck did he go? It was like, he went down to New Orleans to hunt alligators. Do you guys know how you hunt alligators? What do you think you use to hunt an alligator?
Bomb.
Probably like a shotgun. Yeah, you just shoot them.
Yeah, you just shoot them. You
You
take
wrestle it.
like a fishing pole, and you
and you hook them.
you put a big chunk of meat on there, pull them in, and then when they get close to the boat, you just shoot them. And they showed these shots of Buck and these two of his Cajun buddies on this little dinghy, and
Down in
pull the
Louisiana.
gator in, and they literally, like fucking mafia style, just shoot this alligator in the skull, and they show it. I've never seen anything like that. I did not think you could show that on TV.
Well, after watching that, are you glad you know what that looks like now?
I don't know if I'm glad I know what it looks
You don't
like.
have to worry about that anymore late at night.
I
Like,
can
know
finally,
what that
yeah, I
looks
can
like.
Yeah.
finally sleep.
Pleasant slumbers right after.
Buck. Do you think that the show would be on air still if his name wasn't Buck? Because I don't.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
not.
that that's a big selling point.
Yeah.
They might have never
Dave.
got past. Yeah.
No, he.
Or something more proper. Like, what's a really. William
Cornelius.
the
Cornelius?
outdoorsman. Yeah,
That one.
Cornelius the
Cornelius.
outdoorsman.
See, that's a guy. That's just a guy who's like wearing knickers and going fox hunting.
Yeah.
Willie
trying to
or
chase him
Cornelius
down. So,
doesn't
Sean-
have the balls to shoot an alligator.
Yeah.
To look an alligator in the eye and
Too
No.
much of a gentleman,
Yeah.
you know?
He starts. Yeah, he cries. He sheds a tear and then releases it back in. He wouldn't even kill a butterfly. Sean, so you watch Community, or you have
I
watched
used to watch it all
Community?
the time. And then I started rewatching it on Hulu. I never watched the last They did 6 seasons, right?
6 seasons.
Yeah.
And it
The
was on
last
Yahoo.
one- yeah, that's the thing. The last one was on Yahoo Watch, which was Yahoo wanted to do their
Long-lived.
own streaming service.
Yeah.
Lasted, I think, 1 year exactly. So not a lot of people were able to see that season. I
Yeah,
sought it out.
Well, it's not.
That's all on Netflix now.
Yeah, it's all on.
Yeah.
I need
all
to. I
6.
need to finish that because like the first like 4 seasons are gold. Like they're just so
Absolutely.
good.
Unfortunately, the 5th and 6th season definitely take a hit.
I like
Yeah.
But
season
the
six.
first
well,
4
at least
seasons-
season 6 is better than 5. Like they do an uptick.
Yeah,
Like, Danny
do you know
Putty and Donald Glover's chemistry, perfect. So good.
I
Unbelievable.
love it. That
I'm so happy.
I say it all the time to myself. Like I wake up and I roll over and I look at my phone. I'm like, oh, it's time to get up, and I'm like, Troy and Abed in the morning, and then I start my day. Yep. That show is so funny to me.
Then like the blanket fort and the pillow fort episodes.
amazing.
all
It's
of
so
those,
good. The paintball episodes.
Yes, the paintball episodes, the floor is lava episodes. Yep, the pillow fort episodes. All of those episodes are the funniest thing to me.
Yeah.
Have you?
That first paintball episode, I swear to God, that's one of the best episodes of television in the past 10 years,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
I
It
like.
just ropes you
I
in from
actually-
the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually like it as the paintball progresses. I think it gets more because the second one is a 2-part episode where it's the Wild Wild West, right? That's the second
Yeah.
paintball episode.
Yeah.
Or this like
And the dude from
yeah.
Lost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because they bring in the whole. I don't know. I just think that whole concept is so ridiculous,
Over
but
the top.
it kind of completely brings together that the community college atmosphere that they display on the show. You know what I mean? They're all so just kind of wackos and
Yeah.
yeah, and that show is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Those episodes, yeah.
Because I think I've like started
Well,
watching
it's
about,
quick.
like 2 years. Yeah. That's what's great. That's what the appeal of like Schitt's Creek is too. It's quick.
Oh, yeah. I love shit.
Like you have anything
Yeah,
else
so-
to do, but like it's quick. So it's all right. Nice.
Man, I'm
Yeah.
so glad that they put Community on Netflix. I remember when that show was on TV. I feel like it got really slept on.
Yeah,
Oh,
nobody
Dan Harmon
nobody
usually
knew
gets
about
slept
it.
on.
Nobody knew about it. But I
Yeah.
was diehard Community. There
I've
was
been-
a time when Thursday nights on NBC, the lineup was Community, Parks and Rec, 30 Rock, and The Office. That was their primetime lineup. I mean, those are 4 of the best sitcoms.
From like 8 to 10 p.m. probably.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I
That's-
admittedly slept on 30 Rock. I only saw
that
the first
show's
couple
so
of
funny.
episodes maybe like 3 weeks ago. So
Oh
that's
my
how
God.
30
much I
Rock
slept
is
on that
funny.
show.
Amazing.
But that 30 Rock is not as popular as Parks and Rec and The Office. I've actually told a lot of people since they put Community on Netflix that I know are Office fans and have watched Parks and Rec or even How I Met Your Mother. They all those shows kind of have the same appeal. You know, Community is like that. I actually think it's more. It's different, but it's some of the comedy is more just outright funny
Without a
than
doubt.
when you're watching The Office and it's hysterical because of how uncomfortable it is or whatever.
And
But
and how the
Community,
characters were
the way
reacting.
when Pierce will say just something just so like racially or like misogynistic, like just not okay, and the way that the group reacts to it, it makes me it cracks me up. They're just funny.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean it's good, but shows like that hopefully now get more recognition now that they put them back on air, especially in a time like this when there's just absolutely nothing.
I bet
to
you the
do.
movie finally gets made after this.
That's-
Like that'll
that's the
launch
talk.
it and then get
That's the
funding
talk.
behind it. 6
They
seasons of the
did.
movie.
I don't know if you guys saw
Yeah.
they did because the thing about Community is the first 3 seasons, maybe some of the fourth, I don't know, were also produced by the Russo brothers from Endgame and Avengers and all that stuff.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah. They did this. So if they get on board, which they like the show, they like Community, they like Dan Harmon. Everybody likes Dan Harmon. But if you can get them on board to do the movie, and it's just going to be a timing thing with them, then it's going to get made without a doubt. Because
Oh,
those
yeah.
guys are so hot right now.
Years
But
in the making too.
there's this other show that everybody should look up. This is a public service announcement. It's called Happy Endings. You want to talk about slept on shows? This show was on ABC for 3 seasons. The network totally fucked them. It was, man, they kept changing which night it was airing, so people had trouble finding it.
Yeah,
Like
I
that.
hate. Yeah, they used to do that all the time.
They really, really messed up with that show. But the Russo brothers also were the executive producers on all 3 seasons of Happy Endings. It's on Hulu. If you are interested in improving your life, you should watch it. If you're not, that's fine. But just watch that show. Man, that show's so damn good. I was
Why would
watching
we?
it with.
Why would we want to improve our lives? I don't understand.
Yeah, great question.
It's great.
Especially
What's
these
not
days,
fun about being miserably stuck inside?
everything's going so well.
Yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
felt the sun in a couple days, but yeah, it's fine. Like, it's great.
Oh, the sun. I remember it well.
Memories. Oh man.
Speaking of shows, Andy, one thing, and I want to hear Sean's opinion. Well, I don't know, but I wanted to bring up didn't even ever get to talk about it. Sean, are you familiar with the National Treasure series?
Oh shit.
Yes.
so I don't
Cage,
know.
baby.
Yes. So I don't know if you know this about me. I'm one of the biggest National Treasure advocates in the world, world renowned. In fact, I've been asked to attend, different speeches and conferences. I usually can't. I'm pretty busy, but so we had a big discussion about did we do it on here too, or was it just on when you
About
brought me
Nick
on as a
McCracken
guest
on
for?
Two in the Cooler.
Okay, so they said they were going to come out with the 3rd movie, and then we didn't hear anything about it. We were curious to how it was going to be affected by this, and then they come out and say that Disney Plus is going to start a TV series.
God.
Right, Andy?
Yeah, that's what the word on the street is now.
So does that mean no more 3rd movie, TV series instead, or are they gonna try to do a movie and then follow it up with a TV series? What's gonna happen? I need answers.
So do I. I have no idea. It's all up in the air right now as far as I'm concerned. But if we just need to see Nicolas Cage as Ben Gates back on a screen somewhere. That's all.
I didn't want to think about it. Oh my
So
God,
my
I'm
question
excited.
is, if they go the series route, is it going to be him stealing something each episode, or is it going to be like a long build and he steals it like at the end of the season?
I think that. Oh my God. Well, fuck. I
Have you
would.
ever
seen
Can
all the
you
possibilities?
imagine him just going to steal all this crazy stuff, and then if
Oh,
the
no.
series
I
like
think it would be. I think it would be a cliffhanger,
like-
almost like a 24 type show where it's every episode is like another
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
It's like
I think that they would run out of historical stuff to try and find. Like he's one episode, it
Nick Cage
just
chilling
zooms in
the
on.
room
Was
with
like,
everything.
I'm gonna rob Betsy Ross's grave.
Andrew, listen, I'll tell you right now. There has never be enough ciphers in the world for Nicolas Cage to crack for
That's
me
true.
to be satisfied.
But that's why it's so exhausting. Every time you solve another puzzle, there's another
another
cipher.
clue.
There's
another clue.
and another clue,
And then that
another
clue leads to another clue and another clue. That's what's so awesome about it. Have you seen both movies, Sean?
Yeah, I actually thought about rewatching them sometime last week, but like I'm kind of really nervous about what I do around Kyle now because once again, 8 weeks, she's been stuck with me, and I'm
Yeah.
aggressively impressed that she hasn't stabbed me yet.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about putting on National Treasure and her going like,
Well, you
"Really,
know what they
this is
say
you're
about
doing right now?"
quarantine. If you get stabbed once, that's fine. The second stab is where it's like, okay, maybe there's an underlying issue in our relationship. One stab, fine. Hopefully it doesn't kill you. 2 stabs,
Fingers crossed.
yeah, 2 stabs. 2 stabs can be an issue.
Oh,
Now and
man.
yeah, have you ever watched the show Psych, Sean?
No. Isn't that
Psych
like USA or something like that?
Yep,
Yep.
it's USA.
Okay.
It's on Amazon. All the seasons are on Amazon Prime Video. And that show I also think is one of the most underrated shows. Andrew knows I love it. And the reason I bring it up is because they've been doing on USA. They've been doing I think it's Wednesday. They've been picking different days where they're re-showing like full seasons of their old shows all in one day.
Are they
I
doing?
think it's Wednesdays.
too.
I don't know if they did Monk yet.
Gotta do
But
Monk. Are you fuck-
I know that they've been doing Psych, and they show commercials for that were aired during old live Psych episodes. That's what they do as commercials for when you're watching the show. And it's actually been driving me crazy because I feel like a lot of people, because they originally just did one weekend where they did a whole Psych marathon. And it must have been popular enough to where they have been doing it every Wednesday, and I think maybe still Saturdays too, just all day Psych. And I love that show. And the commercials make me so excited, like, oh my gosh, imagine if they started more Psych. It's just one of those shows where, so Sean, it's kind of a crime show, but it's not comedy based, but the main character is kind of a clown, and that's where the funny aspect of it comes into play. And there's a lot of 80s and 90s pop culture references. That's kind of how he functions, and it cracks me up.
Oh, what is that on right now?
It's on Amazon Prime Video. I think 7 seasons, right, Andy?
Yeah, and they did a movie as well.
Well, it's a musical.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
They're
And
doing
that was
They're doing a second movie though. At some point.
it's a good show. That's a show where that's like a time like this when there's not a whole lot going on. If you have time to watch the first few episodes, you might really get sucked in and kind of, I don't know how many shows you've already got on your plate, but I think that you would. I like that show a lot. It's got both aspects of, you're not watching something that's just a comedy, and you're not watching Criminal Minds where children are getting kidnapped every 20 seconds.
Just sad all day because you watch too much Criminal
Yeah.
Minds.
Well, there's actually only 3 episodes of Psych that I think live up to kind of the freakiness that sometimes come with those true murder shows. And those are actually my three favorite episodes. From that perspective, not the 3 funniest episodes by any means, but it's just a really good show. Also, USA shows, White Collar. Andy, you
Oh,
watched
boy.
White Collar, right?
I
I don't know if I've
didn't
ever
watch
seen
all
a
of White
USA
Collar.
show.
I'm
I know
telling you.
exactly what the advertisements for the shows look like, but I've
Characters
never
Yeah.
seen one.
Welcome, or was that TBS? It was USA. I think that was Characters Welcome.
Characters Welcome. Well, that's how. Well, Psych started as an NBC show, right? And then USA picked it up.
Ooh, maybe. Well, because they're both owned by Universal,
Okay.
so I don't know if the pilot for Psych aired. On
I think the
NBC
whole
or
first
USA.
season aired on. I'm pretty sure the whole first season was on NBC.
I have no idea. Man,
Either
I
way.
could talk about
So much
honestly
content.
those 3 USA shows forever. Monk, Tony Shalhoub is one of the greatest television actors of all time, and just listen to that name, Tony Shalhoub. You could talk about that
Shalhoub.
guy for hours.
That is strong.
That's a
That
strong.
is
Jungle
a
out
strong
there.
name.
It's a jungle out there. Randy Newman did the theme song for that show. Are you fucking kidding me? How do you get Randy Newman to do your theme song? You probably just
Yeah.
fucking ask him. He's probably not very busy. But I'm just
That's
saying.
Monk is not as good as Psych. I know you like it
It's
probably
different.
better.
It's different.
Monk. See, Psych is a show that I could recommend to people. Monk, I just don't think a lot of people would like it.
Okay,
It is good. I like it. I know why you like it, but
here's the thing.
fill the people in. Tell us what it's about. Sean doesn't even probably know what Monk is. Nobody does.
I know Tony Shalhoub's in it. Other than that, no idea.
So Monk is about a hero. Oh gosh, I don't. How can I even express this?
That's all I need to know. I'm good. I'm gonna watch it. It's a hero, baby.
Hero is one way to start it.
Monk is an emotional journey about a man who is afraid of the world and yet is compulsively obligated to save it and make it a better place. You can put that shit on the poster. That's a great way to describe
Yeah.
Monk.
See, that's the thing is, it's actually not. It actually probably is the way that the show goes, but that's way more of a dramatic way to explain it.
Yes. So Monk.
That doesn't even actually understand. Nobody knows what's happening. So
No.
that was the most like, yeah.
Like, oh, I guess I'll save him. I don't want to. I'm scared, but I got him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sean, so you've seen it. So you've seen the
So
show.
I get it. You painted such a vivid
Yeah.
image in my head that now I know.
He's a Detective Adrian Monk, former Detective Adrian Monk. He was removed from the police force after he became mentally unstable after his wife, Trudy, the angel Trudy, was horrifically killed in a car bombing. She was murdered.
Not very casual.
No.
No.
In a parking ramp.
In a parking garage. And Monk, so he is now a private detective and consultant for the San Francisco Police Department. He's got severe OCD and what is it? Germophobia, all of this stuff. But he uses that to, sort of help him solve crimes. And plus, with his training, I mean, he's an excellent detective. And and the show is, it's a lot like How I Met Your Mother. I would say this is because it's so well run, the show, as far as the things that happen from season to season that they keep running. Like, the thing that I like about How I Met Your Mother is, one, whenever they talk about weed, they always say sandwiches.
Sandwich.
That's one of the more upfront
it's the whole
ones.
show.
But there's, like the episode of How I Met Your Mother where they quit, or where they're all trying to quit smoking cigarettes, and then at the end, they are all up on the roof and they say, "Okay,
Last cigarette.
last cigarette," and then Bob Saget, the voiceover, comes in and he's like, "This person's actual last cigarette was blah 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 at this time, like a couple years later." And if you watch the show, you can see in these moments people smoking their last cigarette. Like, if you watch the one, because they say Marshall's last cigarette was on the day that his son was born, and if you watch the episode where Lily gives birth, Marshall is in the casino with Barney playing that game, some gambling, and he's smoking a cigarette. And they don't say, they don't like bring it up again like, "Hey, remember from that last episode?" It's just it rewards you for paying attention.
Yeah, like an Easter egg. Just like, yo, that thing, it's happening right now.
Exactly. And
That show
really
is so
cool.
good.
Yeah, I love that. When that was on Netflix, that was one of my, at the time, it was my favorite show. I would watch it all the time. And that's what I liked about it is I would watch it, and you just start to notice different things that, not even big, not big things whatsoever, but it was just so cool when you notice something like that. You see him smoke that last cigarette. Or there was a lot of other times where, because it jumps all over the board, right? It doesn't, when he's telling the stories aren't always in the same timeline depending on the episode of what he's talking about. For the most part they are, but sometimes they jump around. And on those episodes where they jump around, you'll, like, say they jump, they're season 5 or whatever, and they jump back to an event that might have happened in season 1. There's no continuity errors whatsoever in the way that, like, events happen. And that's, I don't know, it's cool when you notice stuff like that down the line. Or
Yeah, for sure. It makes you appreciate a little bit more that they
absolutely.
actually cared. That's why Breaking Bad was so good. Like all the small detail that went into everything.
There
It's
you
just
go.
like I definitely would have been like, this'll do. Let's move
Yeah.
on to the next thing.
It's good enough.
Yeah, I never watched Breaking Bad. Still to this day, I haven't.
Real
done it.
good.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't. And I always say my excuses because I don't want to invest that much time in a TV show, but I do it all the time watching small TV shows. Like I'll watch 5 different, like 1 to 2 season TV shows in a month that I've never seen before, but I won't just sit down and for a month watch one 6-season TV show or how many, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I get really invested because then I stop sleeping and I stop leaving my bedroom and I eat a lot but not healthy food. It's a lot of hot and spicy Cheez-Its and Mountain Dew.
Very good,
And I'll
though.
sit there.
Lord.
So good. Now I want hot. Well, because I just want to sit there. I'm not good at, I hate people that spoil shows. I have this friend that they'll watch a show and they'll look up the ending the second they start watching it.
That's
They're like, I can't take it anymore. I want to know what happens. That is the stupid. What is the point of
Yeah.
watching the show? And they're like, well, it helps me. It takes the anxiety out of it. And I'm like, no, it just takes the fun out of it. Is what it does.
true.
Part of watching a show is when you're like, oh my god, I don't know what's gonna happen. And
Yeah, that's.
I love that feeling, but I also have no self control to where like, oh, I guess I'll have to call it for the night and wait till tomorrow to see what happens. I'll watch it till 6 a.m. and then I'll
I did
pass
that.
out and then I'll wake up and it'll be 8 o'clock and I'll be like, oh, I gotta go to work now, and then I'm tired all day and then I take a nap and then
Zombie mode.
yeah, you know how it is.
Start the whole cycle over again.
Yep. And then I'm like, well, now that I just slept from the time I got to work at 4 until 9 p.m., I've got all this energy to watch this show again until 6 a.m. And then, yeah.
I want to mention, this is shifting gears a lot, but we talked about the Musk baby last week, and I heard how to pronounce the name. And Sean, you or Kyle sent in that group chat the thing
The
about
meme?
the meme. The meme saying how if you cipher it, if you Nick Cage it out, it's supposed to
Yeah.
spell Kyle, which is hilarious. But I heard that you're supposed to pronounce it. The AE symbol that's in the middle there is pronounced Ash. So the kid's name is X Ash X12. So you can still pronounce the X's and the 12 like that. You just say the Ash part, and he's
So his
named
name's going to
after-
be Ash.
Yeah, so they're gonna call him
Catch
Ash.
him?
Ash, yeah,
Is
got-
Elon Musk a big
well,
Pokemon fan?
Oh my god! Catch all the aliens when they send everybody up to space. That'd be
Yeah.
made in heaven.
Um,
On his day trip to Mars.
so, he's named after
That's
a
so
plane.
obnoxious.
Elon Musk
Yeah.
said that he's gonna start like selling all of his stuff. Also,
Yeah,
Like all
I
his-
saw
all
of
his
his
worldly
mansions and
possessions.
everything like that.
My
And he's
gosh.
opening up his factories again.
that's crazy. I had no idea. I just can't imagine being able to. I mean, in the first place, having like a massive house and then being able to buy all the houses around you for privacy, because that's what he did
Yeah.
in his neighborhood, and that's
So like,
wild.
what's his move after this? Where's he gonna live? Just
I
like
think he
under a
and
bridge.
Baby 12 and
It's gotta be
Grimes
the
are
troll
gonna
toll.
shoot up into space. I think they're headed to Mars. They're putting computers in their brains. I don't know if you've heard him talk about that.
Well, they want to chip people. They want to start
Yeah.
chipping people.
Yeah,
That was
you
a
get-
Musk idea, I'm
You gotta
pretty
get
sure.
chipped up. You gotta get chipped up if you want
Yeah.
to keep up.
Well, how's the government going to know what you do at all times if you're not chipped?
Exactly.
And you
are
would
they-
want to piss off the government. Just take the implant, take the
Yeah.
5G networks, just obey your government. It's fine. They know
See,
what's
this
going
is
on.
the government's going to say if you give us a chip, then we can read everybody's temperature, and then we'll know if you got the vid or not.
They tried that. They actually talked about doing that like 2 weeks ago.
Well, there's been a thing that's like they want to start putting almost like metal detectors, temperature readers
Yeah.
as you walk into, like sporting events or something like that. But here's the thing. I have so many issues with this. One, if you have a fever, you probably know you have a fever, and in that case, you probably aren't going to a sporting event.
But also,
I think it's the people that are asymptomatic that you have to worry about.
Exactly.
And what I was saying is, so if you walk through, and what if you just, what if you run hot? Some people run hot. Sam Phillips runs hot.
Sam Phillips, good friend of the podcast, Sam Phillips, he runs hot.
Just
So if
all
you
the
run
time.
hot now, do you have to explain? You have to have documented paperwork that says, "Sorry, I run hot." Or this was my other thing.
Here's
Oh,
a great
yeah.
idea. There's no way this idea could backfire. Everybody who runs hot gets a little yellow star, and they wear it on their clothes at all times.
With
And
a number.
And
Yeah, they have a number associated with their yellow star too.
I feel
Yeah.
like when they get checked out, they'd walk by like that, like run hot, and then just like keep going forward.
No, and it actually backfire. People think that we're going to start to segregate the run hotters, but the run hotters are actually going to become the elite of the elite. Like we run hot,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? and they're gonna start to actually enslave the people that have regular temperatures. Like the Community episode. Do you know what I'm talking about? When they do where you can rate people and you want to get a 5-star rating. Do you know this episode?
Oh, that's in one of the later seasons. I haven't gotten there yet in my real.
Oh, there's an app that comes out.
It's exactly like a Black Mirror episode. Community was.
Yeah, that's what my mind went
at this
to.
time.
Yeah.
I've only
Harmon,
ever
no
watched.
one cares about him for some reason.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Rick and Morty, great show. Animated
I've only
series,
ever watched
not bad.
one Black Mirror episode. That's at Netflix. It's on Netflix, and it's like every episode's like a different. It's kind of like creepy.
Yeah.
The one I watched was
Spook.
weird. It
You know
was
what
really weird.
What I heard before you tell us the episode is that the fellow who created Black Mirror said that he has got to take a break. Like the show's got to take a break and really think about what to do because so much of, especially things from the early seasons that they were thinking of are coming true now. So he's
Yeah,
got to
I saw
totally rethink the whole concept of the show and what it's going to
Make
be
it good.
about.
Good things, positivity.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not
please,
positive.
anything.
Well, I think that's was kind of part of the thing. It was pretty like a lot of those episodes ended up being far fetched from what I know. I only watched one, like I said.
Some of
I'll
them.
tell you about it.
They got those fucking metal dogs, those robot dogs. They're using those in Singapore right now to enforce social distancing. You know what I'm talking about, Sean?
Seriously?
Those
I know the dog you're talking about.
I
I didn't
was-
know that was like
Metal
actually,
dogs. I
was
started thinking
Amazon.
of in Kingsman. You know what I mean? In the Golden Circle.
Yeah, they're not
those
like
metal dogs. Oh,
No,
'cause those
they're
ones are
not
scary.
crazy.
Like Elton John. They only don't kill Elton John.
Well, that should be the rule for everybody.
Pretty nice
Yeah.
though. Yeah, don't kill Elton John.
Don't
That-
do it.
Everyone can
John.
agree on that.
Yeah. The episode I watched though was. It was like a museum.
Oh, that's the only episode you watched?
The one where the electric chair one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Is that-
Yeah, it's the only one
Isn't
I've
that the
ever
latest
seen.
season?
That's a bad choice because that has so many Easter eggs to past episodes. That was the worst.
I
A
didn't
friend
know
of
that.
mine was watching it and wanted me to watch that episode with them.
Sick episode.
It was cool. It was really cool, but like I don't know. I've actually just now talking about this makes me think maybe I should lay off Criminal Minds since I've already seen it 4 times, and maybe I'll watch Black Mirror. Do you think that'll get my psychopathic fix in, or is it not?
Some episodes, yeah.
It'll add like a future, so at least you can be like hopeful for your like
Yeah,
psychotic fixes and stuff because
Yeah.
it's gonna happen in the future.
perfect.
So,
I just think
kinda
the-
wanna
I-
watch that tonight now.
Yeah, I just think that the idea behind like behavioral science and like profiling people is so cool. I think that's why I
For
like
sure.
Criminal Minds. Like, because they have that show on Netflix too, Mindhunters. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I
It's
heard that's a
kind
real
of-
slow burn.
Yeah, it is. It's not. It's more like historical almost because it's based on true events, but it's got that like TV drama effect at it. It's about the whole development of the like
That-
behavioral science and behavioral analysis, the BAU, kind of how it was developed in real life. So the guys kind of start out by studying serial killers. They have this idea, and then they're working with the FBI, and they're trying to get money to be able to develop these ideas. And then there's 2 seasons now. So the second season, they finally kind of get the FBI to realize, like, maybe like these serial killers do have these behavioral issues that you can analyze and either prevent or catch them based on that stuff by interviewing ones that are already caught. So they interview all these not real, obviously, because it's a fictional show, even though it's based on nonfiction events.
Are real though.
Yeah, the ones that they interview in the show are real serial killers because it's about So it's really good, but it's a slow kind of. There's no crazy events. It's just learning about it. I thought it was really
Truth.
good.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not mad about slow burns at all. Like, what is it? The Outsider was really good. Then
Oh yeah, that
We
show.
talked about that the other day.
Oh, really? It's so good. I mean, like, when did Jason Bateman become a serious person? I guess going from Arrested Development to like all the spooky shit.
He's a good
It's
actor,
great.
man.
Yeah.
No,
He is.
he's just got it.
Sometimes you just have it.
You know. You go far. Anybody who
Runs hot.
starts off, he runs hot.
Yeah, he runs hot. Hey,
Bateman
sometimes
runs
you run
hot.
hot.
That's a T-shirt. Bateman runs hot.
Man, oh man.
We're selling it on
Yeah.
the streets. We're just
We'll
selling.
get the hoodies. Oh, we're just selling them anywhere. It's not yeah.
No, we don't have a store or anything. We're just,
Yeah, just
That's
sell the
fine with
hoodie and
me.
then put the print on it later when you see him. Just sell
Yeah.
the merch first and then do the print later. Oh my god, that's so obnoxious. The crazy like car alarms that go off. It's like the doot, then the woo. And don't
Yeah.
they do that on How I Met Your Mother too? That's like a part of one of an episode. South Philly. You know?
Yeah. Do you guys ever get rappers, like motorcycles and four wheelers going
Yeah.
by?
We live like maybe like a block off of Broad Street, and we live
Okay.
on Broad in Oregon, which is like maybe a mile away from the stadium. So like we hear that shit so often. Like I'm not gonna lie, it kind of gets me hyped. Like if I need like a
Yeah.
little boost, and like I hear them, I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
time to go lay on this couch.
Like, yeah, like the movie. Have you seen the movie Creed?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're riding, fires me up. I'm ready to go every time I see it. That's for sure. Yeah,
Man.
but I don't know. What? Go ahead, Andy.
I want to, whenever I think about, living in a city like Philadelphia, the big selling point for me is that they have an NBA team. Like, I know Buffalo's got a hockey team and a football team, which is
And they're
awesome.
better than the Nets.
Let's take it easy. So everybody's okay. Nothing's happening right now, so we're not.
Yeah, no sports.
Even-
yeah,
Everybody's on the same
Level
plane.
playing service right
Yeah.
now.
Okay, but once KD comes back and Kyrie,
your Lord and Savior.
yeah, then the world's gonna change. I know, man. A lot of people when
Just
the
like
Nets went
that.
to Brooklyn, they jumped on because Jay-Z was the big, part owner. Everybody loved that, and they made those fucking awful trades. Billy King, the former GM,
Yeah.
is a he's a garbage human. There's no getting around it really, but and then the Nets got so shitty. Still love them, but they were not a good team. They dropped off. Now they're going to start doing good. Everybody's going to be hopping back on the wagon. And honestly, I
I'd be
don't
there to
mind
greet them. Their jerseys are sick though, and like their court's sick. So once they get going, I can definitely see a lot of people buying in that just because of the jerseys.
It's funny that you say that because I was about to say the exact opposite. I was about to say I think that the 76ers jerseys are way cooler. Well,
Oh, they're
like
sick.
that color scheme.
Yeah.
People gravitate towards the red, white, and blue color schemes.
Right, because that's what
And-
we bleed.
Yeah, and yeah, and I don't know if you guys have your phones on you or not, but live in action, Kyle just took a picture of Sean while he's recording the podcast.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
the one on the podcast. How weird
Yeah.
is it that
Yeah.
she's just sitting over there right
Yeah.
now, not saying anything? I have the power.
Yeah, live in action, photos being sent out through our family group chats. No, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, Sean, you now do have the ability because you are the first one. There's
All right, what else? Who wants to know what I think about people? Let's go right now.
Yeah, yeah. Which family members do we hate the most? I actually brought a list, so we'll go through that off. Yeah, we'll go through that off stream though.
New segment on the show.
We love you all.
Program.
Everyone's fantastic.
New segment on the show. That
That's kind of, you know what?
yeah.
Just talking about the family and stuff. The family. What do we fucking?
Do like a Patreon for that.
But it's just, Sean, have you? I'm just curious because Matthew and I will obviously never sort of get this experience, but has Jim Hunter talked to you a lot about, being an outlaw? Which
Sure
is what
has.
that's for people listening. That's what we call folks married into the family.
Well, it's been great. I've been finally getting my slow in-law training and everything like that, bit by bit. Every time I see him,
Right.
I probably would have been formally initiated about a month ago.
Yeah.
But obviously that
Yeah.
happened, so I have to wait. And that's what I'm more upset about. It's just
Yeah.
like I was so
You're-
close.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that you're gonna marry Kyle, but you're not officially an outlaw yet.
Right.
Yeah, it's
until-
just like you see it, you're so
Yeah.
close, and then pandemic happens.
yeah.
Well,
Crap.
after the
oh crap.
after the branding ceremony and you get your official windbreaker, I hear things are supposed to be, start going really well. But I don't know. Did you? Oh my gosh. Our Uncle Jim, just for anybody listening who doesn't know, phenomenal guy, future guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
We were doing, these family Zoom happy hours. He has his kilt, which is what he wears to all major events. And what I had never seen before was the goddamn Braveheart sword that he was swinging around the kitchen. I got very nervous for Aunt Sue in that little kitchen.
Oh
In
my
Cuba,
god.
New York.
Poor Aunt Sue.
Yeah, no.
There's
The
a
kilt
place.
is
There's a place for big swords like that, and
It's
it's,
an open
not in the
field.
kitchen. Well, I guess if you don't have a
It
bread,
made me think. You want to know what would be funny to do? And I should stop spitting out podcast ideas live on the podcast because I feel like people, But what if we had? Well, it's funny because think about this. What if we had Uncle Jim? We had an episode, 2 guests, Uncle Jim and Elaine. Had them both on the podcast at the same time, and we just sat there quiet, and we just let them kind of run the show, and just put that out. It'd be like a special Friday edition of Two in the Cooler.
that's not.
Yeah.
They would be
I
the
would
two in
listen
the
to that.
cooler. He wouldn't even.
Yeah,
He wouldn't even be there at that point.
yeah,
Yeah, I do gotta say though, Uncle Jim did make like meeting everybody a lot easier because he was just kind of like there, and then like just like he would just cut any. I don't want to say awkward atmosphere, but like being one person meeting like a family that has 5,000 people in it, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's just a
growing.
lot to take in. So
yeah.
Good
no,
man
he's
right
definitely
there.
good at that, and that's how they really do. They take that outlaw shit seriously. They don't joke around with being an outlaw.
I already
Because-
forgot about the outlaw thing, and then you just brought it back up. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll never let you. I wouldn't let you forget.
So
because
close.
I don't want them
So
to catch
close.
you forgetting. Yeah. Well, soon enough. One day, soon enough. We'll all be there. Well, that's why. I mean, that's why we had never really met your family until the bus, the beer bus.
Yeah,
and if you're ever
was
gonna
wild.
meet, if you're ever gonna have 2 families come together and really meet in one period, put them on a bus and make them go on a bar crawl because that was unbelievable. And I feel like by the end of
Yeah.
it, everybody was. It did, you know what I mean? There was no.
Yeah,
it
it's like they'd known each other for forever. I still can't look at photos from that because I will instantly feel drunk again, just like soaked back there. It's like, oh god, that was such a wild night. That was so good.
That was a lot of fun. When we ended up getting off, I don't know how many people went, but when we got off the beaten path, ended up kind of getting away from the crawl and going to that Irish bar. I don't know what it was called. It's like the oldest bar in Buffalo or something like that. There was only a few of us that did it, but once we got in there is when stuff really started getting crazy.
Oh man,
That was a really fun night.
What bar was it that it was like one half of it was distillery and the other half was like an actual bar?
Oh yeah, I don't know what that.
That's when things were really hazy for me, trying to figure out like
That's
where
that's
am
the
I right
place.
now?
That when you went outside of the distillery, that distillery had a porch because the upstairs had a there was a venue upstairs where you could
Right.
hold like when you walked out on that porch, down the street was that old bar, and we went from that was, but I will say. There was still meatballs left over from Christmas Eve, the Christmas Eve party, and when I got home, eating those meatballs was I just realized that Andrew wasn't on the bus.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, thanks for just realizing that. Jesus. You guys
Well, I
talking
mean,
about-
we're talking about how much fun it is, and I totally forgot that you had to work.
Yep,
I don't know if you know what? I don't know if I would have brought it up. I feel bad now.
Brought what up? Nothing happened.
Yeah,
We didn't just
we
talk
didn't
about
have
it
one of the
right there.
best
What?
fun family
Dude, that
nights of our
sucked
lives
so
without you.
bad.
That didn't happen. Yeah,
It was a dud of a night.
yeah.
Just
sucked.
ask anybody.
Yeah.
Not so hot.
Honestly, I would have rather sat there with a warm cup of tea and watched, listen to NPR until I went to sleep. Or
I know
Having a
that
heart.
you guys are lying to me, but it is
I don't
making
do
me
that.
feel better. So please continue.
Oh yeah, it sucked.
No.
I had to hang out with my parents. That was just like, oh, I moved away for a
Yeah.
reason, and here we are, like miles away in Buffalo. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Now, I know it was a good time. I
yeah,
was
it stunk.
disappointed that I had to miss out on that.
I would never do it again.
No.
It's
Actually,
one.
I've heard rumblings. That since we now have to wait, another full year for the wedding, that there's gonna have to be another event on the,
Yeah, there's a time.
Another beer bus.
There's a limit.
I'm into that.
The
That
statute
would
of
be great.
limitations before you
Yeah.
have to redo certain
I mean,
things.
like when we initially pushed the wedding back to July, we're like, oh, we're golden. That's 3 months away. And then like as soon as it got closer, it's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna push this to next year. Like we're not rescheduling a third time.
Yeah, I
Got it.
know. You know what? That's kind of the crazy thing is that at this point, when it all first happened, everybody I thought was kind of like, all right, we'll just wear it for a few months and everything will be back to normal. And now it's kind of hit the point where it's like, well, what is going to be normal from this point on?
Yeah.
Nobody knows how long this is going to last. And then when this is all over, then what's the next step? I don't mean to cut it short, but I do have to get going in a second. I've got to
Matthew's got a heart.
get out. I've got to go out to dinner in the
can't believe
Sunshine
it.
State. Unfortunately,
You little
and I
bastard.
have to probably
You're adopted.
order a drink and sit outside, and
You poor soul.
it's gonna be it's actually a really difficult thing to do because I feel so bad for everybody else that doesn't get to do it. I almost can't even enjoy myself. I feel so guilty about the fact that I have the privilege of doing it. So
You know what? I'm gonna chug a bottle of wine on my single step stoop, and it's gonna be awkward, but I don't care. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be the best
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
you're doing it for me at that point.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're making me feel better about myself.
I'm gonna send pictures of
Because-
Kyle staring out the window and get her back.
Yep. Definitely gotta get Kyle back. So, but any closing remarks, Andrew? First, before we'll let Sean carry us out.
Boy, just listen to, check it out on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. Just the usual stuff, really. Nothing going on here. And Matthew, watch The Last Dance. Have you watched it at all, Sean?
I did not watch this past Sundays, but pretty caught up. Dennis
Pretty
Rodman,
caught
my
up.
new hero.
Oh my God. The one thing I'll
Wild.
say quick about Dennis Rodman is before this documentary came out, he still is, but I like Pistons Dennis Rodman. Bulls Dennis Rodman is cool because he did all that crazy stuff, but Pistons Dennis Rodman is one of my favorite players in NBA history because
Good.
that
I didn't
guy
know he was so
worked
defensive.
his ass off. He
Yeah.
won back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, 89 and 90, and my gosh, I mean that guy. Talk about a guy who just like is so dedicated to helping his team out. I mean, he's the man. And he was like, he worked at an airport. Like his mom kicked him out of the house at one point. I mean, the guy like really worked hard to get to where he was, and he knew it. He didn't take it for granted for a single second. And I mean, seeing him play in those Pistons games, you can really tell that nobody's got as much heart as that guy.
Yeah. To go out and like party all night too, then come back and like just be this great basketball player. Insane.
I mean, that's unbelievable. That's a special breed. But enough about that.
Yeah.
Sean, is there anything you want to say to the people? You have anything to promote?
Hell no.
I like that.
Love it. Just promote quarantine.
Yeah, we love it. Stay inside. All right, well, thank you again, Sean, for coming on. And
Thanks
like
for having
Andrew
me.
said, yeah, check us out on YouTube. You can see the full videos and clips that Andrew will be posting of the podcast. You can come check out Sean's luscious blonde hair. It looks fantastic, if you ask me. Quite a
Thank you.
quarantine look. Check us out on Twitter at 2InTheCooler. We're tweeting out, updates, stuff like that there. And Sean, again, thank you for coming on, and thanks everybody for listening.
Boys.
Thanks, Sean.